What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is John Scott Won't Stop. I'm a second generation hairstylist that's been doing hair for the better part of 2 decades. Now, typically, I'm here to share the knowledge I've gained throughout the industry with you, but today we're going to be doing something a little bit differently. It's going to be a story time because I have a stalker. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. I wasn't sure if I was going to discuss this situation here on YouTube. It's been not only talked about, but it played out over on TikTok already. But now, I have some companies that are reaching out to work with me. And I think that they should know what the situation is before I start getting punished for somebody else's behavior, for lack of better words. Basically, this is what happened. Towards the end of February of this year, around the 25th or 26th, a woman decided to make some claims about my best friend, who is a political TikToker. I'm not a political TikToker. I'm a hair TikToker that will call out injustice and racism and, homophobia and transphobia, misogyny and all that when I see it. But typically I try to focus on keeping the facts straight and doing the right thing and focusing more towards hair on my channel. But my best friend is a political TikToker. This other person, the stalker, another political TikToker, on the same side as my friend of politics, which doesn't matter which side they're on. Is that the love for you guys? I don't know. They're on the side that doesn't hate gay people. She, for whatever reason, a battle of an ego. I'm not exactly sure what her motivation was. She was making a bunch of claims that were lies about my friend. And to be honest, he's a big boy. He can take care of himself. I don't need to step in and protect my friend. But I did comment on one of her videos. I'm like, hey, this is incredibly disingenuous. None of this is true. You might want to post a retraction. She ignored me. I ignored her. Again, he's a big boy. He can handle himself. Well, apparently she made another video where she told more lies that contradicted the first set. And one of his followers reached out to her and was like, hey, you're lying. You need to stop. And then my friend, who was asleep at the time because it was the morning hours, and he live streams all night and stuff like that. So he's up late and he wakes up later in the day. She took advantage of him being asleep in the sense that she went to work trying to destroy his reputation however she could, because he DM'd her telling her to back off. And he wasn't really nice about it. And I don't blame him. When you have someone that's actively lying about you and saying horrible stuff, you're going to have an attitude with them. There's no reason to be nice to them. She then responds to this commenter saying, he's abusive and arrogant, and that's why his baby mama wouldn't let him see his kid and all this other crap. That's not true at all. And I stepped in because I'm like, she's going to try to ruin his reputation, and he doesn't even know this is happening. It's kind of shady and snaky. So I stepped in and was like, hey, none of that is true. He forced you to unfollow. He forced the unfollow, which is something you do on TikTok, where you, if a person is following you, you can go to their profile and make it so that they're no longer following you rather than blocking them and creating more drama. Typically, if you force the unfollow on someone and they call you out for it, you're like, oh yeah, the app just purged or whatever. I stepped in and was like, hey, leave the kid out of it. It's my best friend's kid. I'm going to be I don't have my own kids, so I'm really protective of my friends' kids. And on top of that, don't bring kids into something that have nothing to do with kids. Especially if you're lying and make a bunch of claims that aren't true, you get called out for them. Your response shouldn't be let me drag someone's kid. I told her to back off and to leave the kid out of it. Her response to that was, you and your friend are abusive and you're abusing me. And so I was like, wow, narcissist. Yikes. Now, typically when I call out injustice with people, I usually, I'm a roast creator. I'm not a call out creator. I'm not a political TikToker. I'm a roast creator. So I will roast the crap out of somebody, potentially to embarrass them, to get them to stop spreading their hate, and to get them to take down their video, which most of that usually works. I might have a back and forth with them for 2 or 3 videos, but that's about it. And then it calms down. I'm pretty much undefeated on the app. This person saw me as a challenge and decided to keep attacking me. Now, I only intended on dealing with her long enough for my friend to secure the privacy of his son's information, because she kept saying she was going to get into the custody papers and figure out what happened there so she could expose him and all this other stuff. And nothing happened there. It was just contentious because, you know, when couples break up and they have a kid, it gets contentious. It's more often than not, it'll be contentious. So him and his ex, his kid's mom, have a great relationship. They co-parent really well together. It was just fresh at the time, whatever. So she's threatening that she's going to get all this information. And then she starts weaponizing situations with creators of color against myself and my friend that have nothing to do with the situation at hand. She was just trying to weaponize these creators of color for her own benefit in a fight she started. And then she tried to do the same with a mutual of mine that is a gay content creator, trying to weaponize somebody that's LGBTQ plus against myself and my friend. And so I kept pointing out to her, like, you're weaponizing people of color, you're weaponizing LGBTQ plus people, like, that's not a good look. And then, you know, she decides to put in text on one of her videos, he's never going to sleep with you, John, talking about my best friend. And now this is a common aggression that's used against gay men and straight men that are friends quite often. And it ends up being to the detriment of the gay person, because typically when people, so what happens is people will assume that the straight man in a friendship between a gay man and a straight man is gay because he's friends with a gay guy. And a lot of good friendships have ended this way because the straight man is being pressured by people for potentially being gay, and they're being treated like they're in the closet, which any of us that have been in that position understand it sucks, especially having actually been in the closet, but to not be in the closet and to be accused of something that's not true. And this can cause these relationships to end, and it discourages straight men from building friendships and social relationships with gay men. Historically, straight men have been the biggest threat to gay men. So the rhetoric is very homophobic to say, oh, he's never going to sleep with you, talking about a straight friend to a gay friend. She then responded to that with, I didn't know you were gay, talking about me, because apparently I just ooze butch, right? Ooze masculinity, ooze the gross term of straight acting or whatever. Apparently we have to act a certain way to be gay, which I again pointed out that's even more homophobic, because now you're using a gay, like the idea of a gay relationship as an insult against what you are perceiving to be a straight friendship. And, you know, that goes right over her head. So then she's going on about how we're these abusers that are abusing her and all this other shit that's not happening. And she uses an example of how people dismiss abuse by being like, oh, it's because he drinks. No, it's because of this and because of that. A friend of mine who is trans non-binary, they, them. So my friend stepped in and was like, John's recovering alcoholic. Not fucking cool. Stop. She responds to my friend, but throughout my interaction with her and throughout my friend's interactions with her, she misgendered my friend. She misgenders them every single time. But she responds to them with, oh my God, he's like 2 years sober, and like, and starts doing this Valley Girl voice, which has been used as a macroaggression against gay men for as long as I can remember. And I've been out for about 25 years. She uses this macroaggression of the Valley Girl voice, right? She tries to say she was doing a Valley Guy voice, but that's not a thing. And she makes fun of my sobriety. She claims that she congratulated me, but what she says is, he's been sober for 2 years, which like deserves, she kept doing this like thing, which was, I don't know what that was, but deserves congratulations, but we know it's because he's abusive. So like she congratulated me for being sober, but immediately was like, well, he's sober because he was abusive. I quit for emotional and physical health reasons. I didn't quit because I was abusive. She starts to make fun of me. Now she's doing this from a backup account that has about 18,000 followers on TikTok. If you guys are finding me through YouTube, I have close to 300,000 followers on TikTok. She had a main account though that had 140,000 followers. Well, all of these people saw what she was doing, and it started getting shared and duetted. And people were like, what are you doing? Like, who do you think you are? A person that hates me reached out to her and was like, you've gone way too far. What are you doing? Who makes fun of someone's sobriety? Quickly, followers start unfollowing her and blocking her and reporting her accounts. Her main account, 140,000, goes down, gets banned. Now she has her 18,000 person follower account. And uh, a mutual friend of mine, a nurse who works with mental health and addiction, stepped in and was like, "What are you doing?" to her and called her out. Her response was to go after my friend by trying to get her fired from the hospital she worked at. Now, my stalker called the wrong hospital and harassed these poor people about my friend who stepped in and was like, "Don't be ableist. Don't make fun of sobriety." And then when that didn't work out, she tried to go after my friend's nursing license, which not the first nursing license or not the last nursing license she goes after in this story time. Now, I'm going to warn you guys now. Sorry that I waited till you were this deep into it. This is going to be like a 4-part story time because there's so much information here. This happened over the course of like 8 months, 9 months roughly, that I dealt with this woman. So she like goes after my friend and starts making all these claims. And we're not even like 3 days out from the initial contact with her. And then she starts coming into dual lives between me and my friend, starts trying to antagonize us, threatens to get into my friend's kids' custody stuff. My friend issues her a warning. He's like, "You're going to threaten me. These are going to be your consequences. This is what's going to happen." And then she would clip it. So her threat, him saying, "Oh, you're going to threaten me. These are going to be your consequences." And then the consequences, she would clip it so it was just the consequences, so it looked like he was threatening her, not telling her to back off or warning her or giving her like the conditional threat, which is what a warning is. And she would try to play that all over the internet for people to watch, to like try to paint us out to be these evil, horrible people that she was projecting all of her own negativity onto and her own actions onto even. And so we have the full clip because you have you save your own clips. Like you can download them from your live center in your TikTok settings. It's the whole thing. Anyway, so we were able to prove that what she was saying was not true. She also then started claiming that she had talked to a lawyer. She gave this like Better Call Saul rendition of the conversation with her friend, that she had to pay her $1 and so rich people do and blah blah blah. Everyone's like, okay, yeah, we've seen that episode too. Now, mind you, she does have money. Her husband owns a multi-million-dollar company and has like connections to the DoD for contracts because of what their company does. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to give any identifiable information for her. Please don't put her name anywhere in the comments. I'll remove it. She doesn't need any more airtime because of me. She chases clout off me all the time, still to this day. It's whatever. So she has resources, she has the means, she has the time, and she's just laser focused, hyper fixated on me. She makes videos telling people that she had reported me to the FBI, that she's reported me to the police for extortion and blackmail, because I don't think she knew the difference between blackmail and extortion. She said she made an FBI report about me, which she didn't. She said she called the police about me, which she didn't, as it pertains to like extortion and blackmail, and then encourage other people to do the same, literally encouraging people to make false police reports against me. Because now that she's done it, it would be, which she didn't do it, but now that she's done it, it would be easier to file that report now that there's a history of that report being filed against me. So I was like, okay, pump the brakes. I went down to my local courthouse and immediately requested a protection order hearing. Now, there's 3 outcomes that come with the protection order request, and you're going to fill out your paperwork. You're going to hand over put your account in, most recent, this, that, their information, which, by the way, her information was sent to me by someone. I took the information, deleted the DM. I couldn't even tell you who had sent it to me, but I had all her information at a time when she thought I was looking for it. And she mistakenly believes that doxing is when you look for someone's information, whether it be for legal purposes or whatever, right? When in reality, doxing is when you publish, like when you take private or identifiable information about a particular person and publish it with malicious intent. So that's what doxing is. She thinks looking for her information for legal purposes was doxing. Anyway, there's 3 outcomes when you request a hearing for a protection order. You fill out your paperwork, and there's a section where you can request an emergency protection order, which will protect you between the time you requested it and that request is granted for the hearing up until the actual hearing itself. It doesn't permanently affect the person's record, doesn't go on the person's record. It just It's like an injunction. It stops a person from like harming you in any way, or supposed to. Uh, 3 outcomes. You will be denied both the hearing and the emergency request, or you'll be granted the hearing and denied the emergency request, or you'll be granted the emergency request and granted the hearing. I put all my evidence on a Google Drive, not realizing I had to turn it in on a disk. There's nothing that said anything about that. So when you turn in the paper, you have to turn it in before 11 and then come back at 3, and then they will give you the results, what the ruling was. I put all my evidence on a Google Drive. They can't see a Google Drive, but I was granted the hearing. I was denied the emergency request. So then I had to have her served the papers, right? So I contacted her local sheriff department. I faxed them over everything. They went and served her at the address that I had for her that I gave to them. They go and serve her. And when they do that, I have so much time until the hearing to prove that she was served, and then also get all of that evidence in on a DVD. She got served. Now, before the sheriff's even like notified me, hey, she's been served, here's your proof of service, blah, 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 blah. She made a video going over the paperwork and how impressive it was that I was so detailed in everything that I said. They're like, yeah, we've served her. I'm like, I know. She told everybody. Like, what are you doing? Luckily, she didn't show any of my private information, but she's doing that. In that time, she was also going live, telling people where I worked. She figured that out somehow. Told people how to find my Facebook, which had a fake last name attached to it. So she had to do some digging to find traces of me online. I've removed all my personal information from the internet. She eventually found my home address because she went through somebody that I knew that once was living with me, and was able to find out through that information. It's a lot. Part 2 gets a little wild as well. But we go to court. We're in court. I'm explaining what's going on. Tell the judge about how it started. Tell the judge how she's making 20 to 60 videos a day. Show the judge all the evidence of the things that she has done, said, acted against me, how she's harassing me, how she's like tormenting me, basically. My resting heart rate, I checked my watch at one point in the middle of it, was 138 beats per minute. And I was sitting there on Zoom like this, and at 138 beats per minute, like resting heart rate. But I was like cool as a cucumber, because I'm not going to show that really. But inside I was screaming mad, because she's like, ha, 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 like cackling and moving around. And I'm like, at one point I look at the judge and I'm like, what is she laughing at? This isn't funny. And the judge tells her to calm down. And then finally it's her turn to tell her side of the story. And the judge, she goes, Judge, I'm sure this is a big waste of your time. The judge effectively was like, don't patronize me or the court. She goes on into her spiel, and the judge, says, do you have the power to walk away from this? She says, yes. She like him and haws, and yeah, I could walk away. Because then you need to. Judge points out that it's clear she's causing emotional distress. By the way, this is done Zoom because she lives in a different state. So it's a state to state. He says, it's clear you're causing emotional distress. I advise you to leave Mr. Me alone and go on about your business. And I was like, I'm fine with that. Just leave me alone. I'll leave her alone, whatever. So the judge looks at me and says, look, man, I'm trying everything I can. I'm looking for anything here to grant this for you, but I'm not going to be granting you a protection order today just because I feel the statutes for stalking and harassment, which is important. Keep that in mind for future episodes. The statutes for stalking and harassment haven't been satisfied. And I was like, fuck, dude, it was so disappointing. Like, this woman is out of control. There's quite a bit of information I'm leaving out because it would just kind of give away who this person is. But I literally had to purchase an external hard drive, 1 terabyte external hard drive, and 1 terabyte worth of cloud space on my phone to just keep up with all of the attacks and all of the videos this woman made against me. 20 to 60 a day. From point of contact to that court date was maybe 2.5 weeks. And I had well over 400 videos that I had to sort through to find which ones pertain to specifically me the most, and which were evidence of the most harassment. So the way harassment and stalking is defined under the RCWs here in the state of Washington is specific to not online. There is a cyber stalking and cyber harassment statute in Washington, and we hadn't looked at that in the moment, which I will get to in a later part of this mini series that I have going on. So I'm super disappointed. And after this, I go live and I tell all of my followers that were in the live, look, don't talk to her, don't talk about her, don't go to her comments, don't report her, don't anything. Just ignore her completely. I'm going to ignore her. And my approach with this was hopefully to be like out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. I literally go into a mode where I'm kind of trying to protect her from what other people are going to take into their own hands, because people do not like to see this kind of behavior towards people they follow, they care about, they appreciate or respect online, whatever the I am to these people. They're going to go into their own defense mode that I have no control over. And this is, unless a creator is actively telling their followers to go after someone, like that creator, people are going to do what they're going to do, and no creator can stop them. We can request that people don't do things, whatever. So I go into like just ignore her, hoping that like out of sight, out of mind. But no, she didn't stop. And I was like, I'm not going to give her what she wants. I'm just going to leave it alone. So then she goes after my husband. She got his name from the court papers. And to hear the rest of this, I will be posting it next week. So part 2 is going to include her trying to get my husband's nursing license taken away from him, which would potentially try to get him fired. Some of the lies that she was trying to spread about me. She makes a claim that I threatened to kill her when I didn't. By this point, she's working her way up into the 1,000 mark of videos. She's starting to attack anybody that smiles in my direction or likes one of my videos or comments on one of my videos if they're a bigger enough creator that she feels she can go after them. And at this point, like, people are just sending me video after video after video after video after video that she's making about me. I at one point had to tell everyone, like, unless, like, I just all her videos in general, but I'm like, unless it has specifically to do with me, please stop sending it to me. Her voice gives me anxiety, right? And that's just a little teaser of what's to come in next week's episode of my story time, or my stalker story time. So stay tuned for that. It'll be next week. Thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you guys can learn from this. Reality is that people do want to get notoriety on social media, and they don't really understand the risks that come along with that, or they're allowing their children to seek out notoriety on the internet without understanding the risks that are associated with that as well. And I'm hoping that I can do one of two things: help guide you guys into figuring out how to protect yourselves in situations where people are becoming a danger to you, and also how to protect yourselves while you're here online. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and click that bell, set your notifications so you don't miss any more parts to this series or any of the hair content that I plan to put forward. I also plan on doing vlogs and not just making this channel about hair. Primarily, it will be about hair, but yeah, if you enjoy this, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Sound off in the comment section below. If this is something you relate to, please create a safe space in my comment section. If you guys want to share your stories as well, I'm looking forward to reading them. And if you just want to follow this one along, that's okay too. All right, guys. You guys have a good night or a good day or a good afternoon or whenever this video finds you. And I'll see you next time.